Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So let's wait for another two minutes, then we will start.
Okay, sir.
So I hope we can start. Good morning everyone again. So how are you all?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Fine, sir.
Yeah. So do you guys have any questions on our previous classes? Let's discuss first, then we will move ahead with that our continuous sessions. How much OOPS is needed for data scientist? You mean object-oriented programming? Okay, so that is again, if you becoming a like Python developer, you need a complete understanding of the tools. Okay, object-oriented programming. Now you are here to learn the data science things. So for the data science, model development, all those things, you need some level of understanding of Python coding. That is enough. So if you want to become a data scientist, so it is not necessary to you should necessary that you should know the complete things of ops or not. Okay, if you have a basic understanding of the tool, that is enough. Yeah, you are not here to becoming a Python developer. You are here to become a data scientist. Okay, if you are interested in the Python development, yeah, that's fine. So anyhow, you got a good kickstart over here, so you can start learning more on that. Then yes, I hope it's a good time to continue that. So let me share my screen. So yesterday we discussed about like how we can create our own function, how we can convert that into as a import as a local import, and like how we can use it whenever it is needed, right? Today, so I'm going to showcase one more function created, that is lambda functions. Okay. So what do you mean by lambda functions? Why we are called this as a lambda function? If we are if whatever we did it in yesterday, so what it is? What is the difference between that defined function to this lambda functions? So that all we can discuss today. So lambda function is an anonymous function. Can anyone tell that what do you mean by anonymous?
It doesn't
Anon-
have any name.
yeah, so anonymous means doesn't have any name. So functions without any names it is. So this lambda function doesn't have
I'm
any
not
names.
able to hear you. I'm not sure either you are talking with.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
You're audible, sir.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Let me reshare my screen again. Yeah, that is the one, very firstly. So another one is a lambda function can take only one, any number of argument, but can only one expression. So you will got to know what is the meaning of these sentences while creating of the lambda functions. Okay. So very firstly, lambda functions are anonymous function. It doesn't have any names, right? So in the user defined function, what happened? So you are going to give some name while you are creating in a function. That is, this is what it is: def, cal, calc. So then you are providing in a parameters. Okay, these are the arguments. And here, this is an expression. Okay, so in Python, in lambda function, what is the syntax to create that? So you can see lambda. Lambda is a keyword in Python. You can directly use it, and the arguments. After the one space, you can provide the arguments, then colon, then it's a section for writing an expression. Okay, so very firstly, first you need to call the lambda keyword, then the arguments, then separated within a colon, and you need to give a expression for your calculations. Okay, so let's see with one example how we can create it. So here we have a calc function. Okay, here I have created a small function over here. What it is, that is calc function. So how I can do it in a how I can convert this into a lambda functions. See, here we are not using any multiple expression. It is a simple one-liner expression. Okay, but it is acquiring like how many lines of code? 3 lines of codes, right? And it is not necessary to have a like for a small expression having this big function. It is not necessary. So in that case, we need a one-liner solution. What will be the one-liner solution? This lambda functions will be coming in a one-liner solution for this set of problems. Okay. See what here saying? We have a multiple arguments here, A, B, and sometimes it might be changed for a multiple arguments. Okay. And then here now, what we are saying, having only one expression. Here, how many expressions we have? Here, we have only one expression, that is A plus B. Other than that, we don't have any complex logic over here. Only one expression. So, it is possible to convert this into any lambda functions, right? Multiple arguments and single expression. So, let's see. As per the syntax, lambda, then what is that? Arguments I have to provide. What are the arguments here? A comma B are the arguments. Then separated within a colon. Then expression. What are the expressions? What is the expression? Not what is the expression? Because it is a single expressions, right? A plus B. That's it. This is what the function it is, that lambda functions. Okay, so now I will store this function in one variable, that is a lambda function. So just I'll save this into a one variable as a value. I just call this created this lambda functions. Okay, so let me execute this line of code. This is done. So lambda function creation is done. Like again, how we can use this lambda function as it is, how you are going to use it, your user defined function. In the same way, you can use it. Lambda functions. Now here I need to provide the arguments A and B. What are the A and B arguments? 1, 3 can provide. So result should be 4. This is what the lambda functions. Okay. So just you guys can understand that it is anonymous function. It doesn't have any name, and then it will accept any number of arguments, but only accept single expression. So in a single expression, here you can give any sort of expression like into B divided by B only, if you have an expression in a single liner expression, if you have any one expression, then you can use it in this way. Okay. See, one, this is the one liner expression. Okay. So then, any questions on that?
Is it possible to return in single line lambda expression instead of storing into one variable and calling that variable?
So, okay, think about
Return.
you are created here in this way. Function is generated. Anyhow, function is created. How you are going to use it? You have to call this function, right? Whenever you are needed.
Yeah.
So that's why I stored it in one of the variable. So why I'm every time storing these values into some variable needs, whenever it is needed, we can use it, that variable. If we are not yet saved in anywhere, then how we are going to use it in future? So just I'm doing saving in one variable name. That's it. Okay, this is how it works. So you guys can also try to use this lambda function is like very advanced one. So whenever, so you need to take, you guys needs to take a decision, right? When we have to create lambda function, when we should use that defined functions, user defined functions. Okay, it is not like each and every time for single expression also going with an user defined function. It is not at all good. So it is not, this will not shows that you are a good coder. So in that case, whenever the requirement is there, then you can use it. That is a different function. If you have any single liner expression, you can call up with the lambda functions only. Okay, these are the two kinds of functions creations in Python. Okay, so I have a multiple examples over here for that lambda functions creation. You can use it. Then, so here I have given one another good statement for function is, a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called, right? So once you are created a functions, when you are calling, then only it is going to execute that. That is what the functions. So you can pass data known as parameter. So you can pass your data, whatever you have as a parameter into this function. So function can return the data as the results. So functions can returns at the end, it will returns the results with as a data, like whatever the logic you are provided with your data, it is going to provide, it is going to returns those as well. Okay,
So the variables can be only one variable or multiple arguments it can return the functions over here.
can you repeat once again?
Means the functions can result only one, return only one attribute or the multiple attributes.
Multiple attributes.
Okay.
Let's see here as a results, result 1 and result 2 is A into B. Result 3 is equals to B into C. Okay, so in this case you can't create a lambda functions because can anyone say why?
Multiple expression.
Multiple expressions, right? So here we have an 3 expression. In this case we cannot. So we have to create a 3 lambda functions for each. So in that case you can create only one functions as a return statement. You can provide multiple results argument. Results 2, results 3. Okay, so then the results type would be tuple in this case. Earlier what happens if I call this sums with an 1 2 3, this will directly returns the a plus b plus c, that is 6 results, 6 as a results in a integer values. But now this will returns in a tuple within a 3 attributes. Let's see 6 2 6. So this is the results of first expression, second expression, third expression. Okay, if you want to store these 3 values in a different variable name, result 1 comma results 2 comma results 3, then what happened, these 3 values are getting unpacked into unpacked and stored it into respective values. So 6 will be stored it into result 1, 2 will be storing into result 2, 6 will be result 3. Okay, so let's see. I just executed now. So now you guys can get the each and every expressions results, individual results. Okay, but it will returns the results with 3 attributes, 3 results in a tuple format. So value should be covered within a one data structure, right? So it is it is covered within a tuples.
So what is the difference between a list and a tuple, except with the type of bracket which is being used?
Okay, so keep hold that point. So when I come to the data structure, there I'm going to explain the difference between the list, tuples, sets, and dictionaries.
Okay, sir.
Yep. Okay, then these are the, like you can see, these are the functions. Okay, mathematical operation functions which is available in Python. Okay, minimum value, maximum value, sum, ABS, absolute, and power. Okay, so Python is in the Python is also created the same kinds of same sort of functions which we are created. They have already written the logic in the backend and they are giving that function as it is for us to use it. Okay, for multiple use cases instead of we creating in a complete logic, the Python is already developed that logic and they have given that functions to us. Okay, then how we can use it? So you can just directly call min function. So inside of that, what it is expecting, that is iterable objects. Okay, so iterable objects, then we can provide iterable objects like in the list or tuples or sets, you can provide the values, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. What is the minimum value of this data? This is, you can say data. What is the minimum value? That is 1. Let's see. Oh, what is that? Why I'm given that comma 2 times? Yeah, this is a minimum value. Then you can see a maximum value of that is 4. Then sum of that is 10. Absolute value, anyhow, you guys know that is conversion of negative sign to positive sign for your end results. And that POV. So you can see inside of that POV, that is a base value and exploratory values. Okay, what is the power value should be? That you can provide it. So what is the base value? That is 10. 10 power 2. 10 power 2 is 100. Then if you need 2 power 2, that is 2 square. The expected result should be 4. See, and 3 square. Expected result should be 9. So in this way, you can create some powered values also. So these are the like very basic mathematical functions which Python's provided. If any functions or any logics are not defined by the Python, then it is your responsibility to create your own user-defined functions or lambda functions for your projects by using this all basic knowledge. Okay. Any questions so far?
Sir, in Python, do we have arrays concept?
Yes.
Of course, lists and tuples are, yes, it's similar kind of. But do you exactly have array also here in Python?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have. That is again the concept of third-party libraries. NumPy libraries which we are only using for creating arrays only.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like arrays and lists are both are same actually. So just I'll give a glimpse of why that arrays. So what we can say. So lists are acquiring in a more memory than compared to array. So that's why we are going with an arrays only. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So yes, that's all about the very basic Python concepts. Okay. So in the very basic Python basics concepts, so can anyone tell that whatever the things which you learned so far, if you have any idea? So what are the concepts you guys are learned? Come on, start. Very firstly, we started with printing the statements, right? Then importing the packages, that is importing the libraries, and we are discussed about like 3 categories of libraries. Then
Data types.
data types. Then
Conversions.
what is it?
Conversions.
Statements that is
Yeah, conversion, like type conversion.
Yeah, type conversion.
Then
loops.
loops, mathematical operators, conditional operators, conditional statements, and the loops. Then we entered into a functions. So in between, we have used multiple Python built-in functions as well. Then functions,
Yeah.
like creating a functions and converting our functions into our reusable utils. Then lambda functions, right? And some string operations. Not a string, just strings, right? So for that strings, whatever the operations we had, right? Slicing and indexing, right? In between, we got to know like some of the operations of list tuples. So these are the very basics of Pythons. So if you know about all these things, so you can do any sort of coding from the scratch. Okay. So take a make a list of those things and start practicing on those concepts. So anyhow, you guys have multiple examples over here. Don't worry about like theoretical things. Okay. So anyhow, what I can say, the statements, the definitions is very informative and it is very much needed. So then I just written it in the notebook as a note, right? So for we have used continue, break, and pass. So these are the 3 important uh, definition which you should know for your interview purpose. There I have already provided. So you can just take an understanding of that and start moving ahead with the coding. So it is completely, this classes is completely hands-on coding, right? So you can just make a list of these basic concepts and start practicing that. Okay, nice. So then the next concept would be, so I have already explained that we have multiple Python built-in functions in the Python, right? So what are those Python built-in functions and what are the list we have to for Python built-in functions? So that I'm going to show in the next in the coming classes. So anyhow, we will start with today only. So let me reshare my screen again for that. Yes. So for that, I have created another notebook for you all, that is Python built-in functions. Okay. So can you guys can see my screen with Jupyter Lab having built-in functions?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here is the list. Here you can see the picture over here. So what are the built-in functions which is available in Python? So I think you guys are already aware of ABS and some of the Python built-in functions, right? Minimum, maximum, int, str, length, list, map, and maximum. So anyhow, you guys are aware of some of the built-in functions, right? So here I will share this notebook again. I will share this notebook today, so you guys can have a look and just call up each and every built-in functions and just see what the result it is going to return. What is the purpose of these functions to use? Okay. So I'll also explain some of the most important Python built-in functions over here. Okay. Yep. We have one built-in function that is help. Okay. So inside of that help function, you can pass any built-in function's name. This will returns a beginner guide for you. So it means what is the arguments that function is accepting, what it will returns, what are the parameters, and what is the meaning of those parameters. So those all can be defined at once you call this help function. So this is a very first built-in functions which I'm going to show it over here. That is help. So inside of that help, you can provide the arguments. Okay, that is I can say a min functions. So I'm just executing this line of code. Just call that function name. Function name you can provide what it means. So min, what is the arguments we have iterable. So and the syntax as well. What are the docstring that functions have that it is going to print it over here. So you can do like you can call this min function inside of that go inside of the function and just press shift to tab. So there also you can find it. So another built-in functions we have, that is help. By using this help function as well, you can print the docstring of that particular built-in functions. Okay. Yes. So that's about help function. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. So in the same way, we have dir. Okay, for the data types. Let's say if you have a string types, so then this dir will return supporting methods which we have on Python. So only supports for this string type. So you can see, forget about this is, we can call it as a private methods. Forget about this private methods. Okay, let's see here. Capitalize, case fold, center, count, encode, ends with. These are the operations for the string. So in a single line of execution, I can show you here the what are the possible string operations which we can do by using Python. So that is because this dir function, because this is a string type. So for the string types, what are the methods which we have? Okay, this is about dir. Then in the same way, we have, yeah, yeah. So we have maximum, minimum for this list. You can see maximum number is 8, minimum number is 1. Okay, this is about the minimum. So then it is a round function. Round function, you can again always you can go inside of this function. You can press a shift tab to know what is the purpose of those built-in functions. Around a number to give a precision in the decimal digits. Precision in the decimal digits. It means, let's see, here you have the numbers. Okay, 1.6678, something like that. So if you want to round the values by using a logarithm, like I think if you guys are aware of logarithmics, you guys should know if it is 1.6, if I make a round of these values, what it will become? 2. Why? Because one, like in the logarithms, if the point decimal values is greater than 5, then it is the value shifted increment with the next number. If it is less than 5, it is kept as it is. Okay, 1 kept as it is. So now it is 1.6. It is greater than 5. That point decimal value is greater than 5. That's why it is returning a value as 2. That is 1.6. It will return it as a 2. Then if it is a 4, then what happened? It will return that 1 as it is. This is what the rounds will do. Then after this value, we have another argument. You can provide a comma, space, then you can provide the value as 2. It means after the point, how many values you need. So you don't want to round the complete values. If you still need the decimal points, decimal values with certain length, how we are going to define? So here it is. So after that point, how many length of values you need, that you can provide. If you are not provided, then it will take it as a 0. If you are not provided by default, you can see by default n digits as none. So if it is none, it means it is not going to consider any values after points, the decimals. It is not going to take any decimal values. So then you can provide a comma, then you can provide a 2, then see 1.46, 1.47. Why? Because the next value is 7. That is greater than 5. That's why it is incremented within a 1 values. It will take the next values. Okay. This is what the round function is doing. Any questions on the logics and the results it is giving? Is that clear? Nice. Then we have multiple examples here for the round. Okay, this is also most important Python built-in functions. It is very risky and it is very hard to write your own logic for this round functions. It will take consume some more time. So that's why it is better to know the Python built-in function. Whenever it is needed, you can use it. Okay.
Vikrant, just hang on. What if it is 1.461? Will it go to 1.47?
If
Yeah,
it is
1.461 instead of
then-
7, then what will it
Yeah.
come?
then it will become a 1.46 as it is.
Okay.
What happened? If you have provided a length as 2, it is going to take a length as 2 from 1, 2, okay, 4 and 6. So by taking that, by considering those length, it is checking the next value as it is by that time. And if that value is greater than 5, then what happened? It is that the previous values gets incremented within a 1. It is taking a next values. If it is less than 5, see,
Okay.
then less is by as it is, it will keep the values as it is. In the same things happen for a value also, the base values also. If you are not provided any decimal values, that length, if you are not provided any n-digit argument, then what happened? This one is going to check of what is my next value. Next value is greater than 5, then it is going to return it as a 2. If it is less than 5, it will return it as it is values. If it is 5 equals to 5, then what happened? Sorry. Yeah, if it is 5, then what happens? So in that case also, it is going to take the next values. It means if the values is equals to 5 or greater than 5, the previous values gets incremented with 1. If it is less than that of 5, then it will simply keeps the values as it is. Got it? This is actually the log concepts. So logarithmic concepts. This is not Python introduced. This is actually the basics of logarithm, log values. Okay. So to achieve the same kinds of things. Okay. So here we don't have any control to take a, yeah, like here it is 1.5 and it is take it as a 2. But if it is in my case, if it is 1.5 as well, so I should take a 1 as it is. It should not go into 2. So in that here we don't have a control to tell that. You got my question, right? Here what it is 1.561. So if I take a round off of that, it is converting it as a 2. But I don't need this. If it is 1.9 also, it will round it into 1. Then if it is 2, okay, I'm okay to take a 2 values. But if it is 1.9, I should take only the value as 1 as it is. It should not shift it to 2. So in that case, we don't have a control over here. How we can achieve that? So for that, we have an alternative, that is in math. Math again is in a Python, a built-in libraries. It is not actually third-party libraries. So you don't need any external installation. Just import that for some mathematical operations. So that name indicates that math is going to help us for mathematical operations. So here I'm going to show some functions, some methods on here. Okay, so you can just call this math dot press tab. Then you got to know what are the supporting methods we have, supporting methods, functions we have on math. So these are the mathematical functions, mathematical supporting functions we have. Tan, assign, tan, tan2, so ceil, copy sign, cos, h. So these are the mathematical concepts, right? In the integration, right? So if you really need some complex logic to execute, you can use it. So here I'm just going to take a ceil and floor. Okay, what do you mean by floor? Floor means if it is 1.6666. Okay, so it is going to take 1 as it is. You can see floor means it is going to take the below values, low level values. Low level values is here, it is 1. See, if I'm using a round values, what happened? So 1.6 is going to becoming a 2. But here it is take it as an 1.6 as it is. So if it is 1.9 also, it will take the value as 1. So yes, here we have the control. So in this case, if we need that kind of things, here we have a control. Then, so we have another one is we have another method is ceil. That is ceil, yeah. So if I call this ceil with 1.9, then it is going to take it as a 2. See? And if I given a 1.3, 1.2, then it is take it as a 2 as it is. So if you want to handle these kinds of situation, you can use this math ceil and floor methods. Okay, this is all about round up the values. Any questions so far?
Vikrant, what if you put 1.9999 in math.floor? 1.999 all nines, like it will still choose 1.
1 only.
Okay. Even
See,
though
it
it
is
is
not
very
going to
close
check. It is not
Yeah.
going to check the values after 9. It's
after
just
decimal.
checking
Okay.
Yeah, it is just checking the previous values.
Okay.
So
Before
what we
decimal.
have on the next, the next values. So one is going to check only the 9, the next values only. So one is not going to check 9 after 9 what we have, after 9 what, after 6 what we have. No, it is not going to check that. It's only checking after 1 point what is the value we have 9. So if I am giving a rounded value as 1, then what happened? This 9 is going to take that responsibility to check the next values. So 9 is going to check what is the next value, that is 6. So if I provide it as a length as 2, then what happened? The 6 is going to take a control to check the values. How it is, that is how it is going. It is only checking the next values, not next to next values. Okay. Yes, I know it is very close to, very close to 2. But some of the condition what we have, we need just only this base value. Whatever it is, if it is 1.999, whatever it is, but still I need a 1. In that case, we are going to use this floor and ceil. Yes, if you want to go with like a random selection with logarithmic concept, still you can go with a round. Okay.
So same is for ceil also, even if it is 1.00001, it will go for 2.
Yeah, 1.1 also it is going to take 2.
So what if it is 1.00001? Only the last one is only 1. Rest all are zeros. Preceding ones.
It is, the condition is very strict. If we have a point decimal places, so here if it is a 1, so that's why it is considered as we have some values. If it is 0, it is always 1, right? So it's just like some trailing zeros of the decimal, then it is going to take it as a 1. Then it is understood by the Python is the value is as it is 1. We don't have any decimal places. We don't have any extra 1 values, 1 point of values also. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't want decimal value, then we should use a math flow, right? So if you want to
math
round it,
flow.
then we should use the round function. Okay.
So no, actually, that again it depends on the condition. So in the round you don't have this option. If it is
Yeah,
1.5,
it will
it
round.
is going, it is directly
That's
going
what
to round
I'm.
it off for 2.
Yeah, here it's not rounding. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like excluding that decimal value, and it is considering like the beginning value. Okay.
Yeah, based on the floor and ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah, this is most important. These are the most important functions for data analysis. Okay. So like that, we have so many Python built-in functions here. So that's what today I'm going to give. So one exercise is that just to use these functions, okay, in your own, and try to understand what is the result it is omitting. So like for that round, I told it, right? I just explained these are the things it is, and what is the alternative for some other different problem statement. In the same way, you guys can also start analyzing these functions and try to understand what is the result it is giving. So, and change the inputs and try to get some different set of outputs. Okay. Then, yeah, this is all about math functions and eval function. What do you mean by eval? Eval is going to remove the outer bounding of your inputs. Okay, so let's say here you have a string called 5 into 3. Okay, so what it is going to print? It is going to print as it is. Why? Because this is a string. This is a string, right? So in that case, you have to do a calculations for this 5 and 3 with a multiplication. Then you have to remove this double quotes, right? How you are going to remove that outer bounds? So you can still use eval function to remove the outer bounds. That whatever the types it is, you need to remove the bounds of that. So how we can remove that? So you can use eval functions so that it is going to remove and it is going to do a actual logic whatever we have. See, 5 into 3 is 15. And this is what eval function can do. Okay. Then the same things. Right? Here I have given a multiple examples over here. For that, see here, send is a print of high. Print. So I'm just giving a print of high. So if I call this function, if I call this function, what it is printing? As a high, it is printing. But now, so I will encode it this within a string as it is. Then if I call this send, what happened? It is going to print the print of high. It is going to print. It is not going to consider this print as a function. Why? Because this is enclosed within a double quotes. Then this complete statement is taken as a string. That's why it is printing the complete one. There is nothing wrong with Python. Then how we can correct it? So you can use eval function for that entire string to remove the bounds of that input values. Then what happened? If once it is removing this double quotes, then it is considering that yeah, print is in a Python built-in functions to print the statement. So and it is taking that argument and printing it. This is what eval functions is doing. So the same things we have multiple examples for that. Okay. We have iter keyword and the next. So we have an iter keyword means for iterating the values. So next means printing the next values. So this will be very helpful when we are using in a generators of Pythons. Okay. So generators of Python is going to return the values in its memory. Okay. So I'll just going to give one examples. So I'm just going to create a one function that is a diff gen, and here I'm going to accept a list by user. Here for I in list, then what I have to do to generate the generator, I'm just going to use yield keyword and I. Instead of writing a return, instead of writing a print, I've written a yield keyword. Yield keyword in means, so unless and until you are going to call that values, those values are not going to execute. It means, so unnecessary, it is not going to consume any of your memories. Unnecessary, you are going to call your function, it is not going to consume any of your executors in Python. Okay, so then you are going to use this generator. So generator is a big concept in the Python, but here I'm just going to showing a small examples. Okay, so in that case, if you wants to call that functions, how I can call it? So here I'm calling a gen of, here I'm providing a list 1, 2, 3, 5. That's it as the input. See, it is just generated in a generator object. Once I call the functions, what happened? It is just generated an object. How you are going to get the results, get the values out of that? It's not return any values. So you call the function, yeah, we are called it. If you need that values, you need to store it. You need to store this object in some of the keyword, that is gen object. Okay, then now I can use the next function. So you can use the next function to get the values. Maybe see one is this function. Again, what happened? 2 is printing. And so what about for the previous values? Previous values is gets vanished from in its memory. It's not going to save in its memory. Okay, so in these kinds of situation, if you once it is executed those values, if you don't need it forever any further operations, then you can go with a generator option. So instead of going to write a return or print statement, you can use yield keyword that will generate a generator object. So you can call that generator object whenever it is needed. Okay, if you need, once it is consumed, if you want to remove from your memory, it is going to remove automatically. Okay, see, now it is not possible to print the value 1, that is get vanished. Once I call this with the next keyword, if we need it, again, I have to call this function again, then I can use it. See, again, if I run this in the same statement again and again, see 2, 3, 4, 5, see, that's iteration is done. All the iteration is done. So whenever you are calling, then only it is going to execute. But in the return statement, what happened? First, it is going to execute with all the iteration, then saving, consuming all the memory, consuming all the executors of Python, right? This is what that return statement is going to do. But yield is only going to do once you are going to call with the next keyword. Once you call the next keyword, then only this function gets executed. Not here. Here it is executed once I call that. Okay. So for this kinds of generator and generator object, this next function will work. Okay. Then iter is also doing the same things. See, iter keyword is also converting your list into a generator. Then if you really need to execute that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it keep on going the things. Okay. If you want to convert your list into a generator, you can use iter. Or if your function is, if you want to your function should returns your generator object, you can use yield keyword. Okay. So keep in mind that as a function return statement, we have 3 keywords. One is print, return, and yield. As you already aware of, print statement is only printing the statements. Return statement is going to returns the results in its memory, and yield keyword is generating an object with your results. Generator object with your results. So any questions on this? Okay. So I will take a pause now. Tomorrow I'm going to show efficient coding using Python built-in functions. So these are the very small, and whenever it is needed, if we can use this built-in functions. But by using this Python built-in functions, some of the very clever functions we have. By using that clever functions, how we are going to do a efficient coding of Python. Okay, like how we can unpack the two objects, right? How we can map it, how we can iterate the values in a by using the Python built-in functions. That all we can see in the next class. So until that time, stay tuned and be patient. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can just let me know now or tomorrow, whenever it is.
Are you going to share this document today, Vikrant?
Yes, I will share this notebook. Okay, so instead of going with all the codes, okay, so whatever I'm just explaining, that only you can see by the notebook, because anyhow that notebook contains everything. By your own also you can do that. But so whatever the things I'm just explain on that particular day, just practice that only. Okay, so instead of becoming confusing with all the things, so I'm here to take you like in a step by step. Okay, I will share this notebook right away after this call. Take a look of Python built-in functions. What are the Python built-in functions are there? Try to explore those functions first. Then you can move ahead. Okay. Okay. Then have a great day. Take care. Tomorrow we will meet at the same time. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.